Welcome to our Facebook interview today with Mike McGregor. Welcome, Mike.
Thanks, Lynn. Appreciate the opportunity.
Of course. So we're excited to have you today to learn a little bit more about you and to hear more about the 15 for Me program. So let's start off by, Mike, can you tell our audience a little bit about yourself, your clinical background? I know you have a background in wellness, and then a little bit about your role at Manspach Health Tools.
Yeah, so thanks. So again, my name's Mike McGregor. I'm a physical therapist. I got my doctoral degree from Marymount University. I'm also a certified exercise expert for older adults through the American Physical Therapy Association. And I'm a certified health coach through the National Society of Health Coaches for Licensed Healthcare Providers. I've been hired as a director of program management, responsible for the development and management of specific BCAP programs, and primarily responsible for the 15 for Me program, which is an evidence-based wellness program.
Awesome. So let's learn a little bit more about 15 for Me today. I know we've heard bits and pieces about the web-based application. I know it's coming out soon. Can you give us a little bit of information about what's inside the program, what all is included? Tell us a little bit about what to expect.
Sure. So it's, again, as I mentioned, it's an employee-based wellness program that's proven to reduce stress, improve job satisfaction, and help bolster retention for the organization. It's a web-based application that's going to allow the employees to reduce stress by taking 15 minutes a day to engage in a wellness-focused activity. So basically how it works is an organization is going to select employees to participate in the program. Each of those employees are going to participate up to 15 minutes of wellness activities each day, 5 days a week for up to 4 weeks. The participants are going to complete a scientifically validated screening tool called the Mood 5 or the M5, which is basically like a stress temperature check. It takes about 1 minute to complete, and it's going to give the employees sort of like a current status of their stress level. Each employee, as they do their 15 minutes a day, is going to have a selection of wellness programs to select from. So what they're going to do is select from one of the 3 C's. So we define the 3 C's as cardio, cognitive, and centered breathing. So the employee is going to choose either the cardio or the cognitive component, and they're going to do about 10 to 12 minutes of that activity. And then every day, they're going to end their wellness session with about 3 to 5 minutes of centered breathing. The good news is that it's really beneficial if you either do it 15 minutes at a time, or if you work up to 15 minutes in a given day. So 5 minutes here, 8 minutes here, 3 minutes here. And again, at the end of that 4 weeks, the employee is going to complete that M5 or that Mood 5 again to get an update on their stress temperature. And with our previous findings, we're going to see a reduction in the overall stress for those employees.
I love that pre-test, post-test kind of mindset around the stress temperature. That's a really great concept. You mentioned the 3 C's, the cardio, the cognitive, and the centered breathing. Can you tell us a little bit in more detail about like what might be a cardio exercise that somebody might select, or what does centered breathing really mean? Tell us about those.
Yeah, so what we wanted to make sure that we did is we needed to take into consideration this program being as easy and realistic for the employee as possible. So when we're talking about cardio exercise, we're not necessarily talking about a 60-minute fitness class at a local fitness center or a YMCA. What we're looking for is about 10 to 12 minutes of really anything that's going to increase the employee's heart rate. So that could be power walking. If there's stairs at where the organization is, you can do stair training. You can do dancing if that's something that's of interest to you. If you're not a fitness buff, you can do general strength training. You can do a circuit cycle with different cardio exercises. Maybe you want to do targeted stretching like yoga. Or if you have another workout that makes the most sense for you, you can use that workout as well. So the key is just to do about 10 to 12 minutes at minimal, and then choosing an activity that you're going to sustain and you're going to do over time.
Okay, that sounds really interesting. It sounds like there's a lot of flexibility associated with that cardio component. Where do the cognitive exercises come from?
So the cognitive exercises, they come from BCAT, okay? And there are a lot of different cognitive exercises out there, but our cognitive exercises have the ones that have been tested and been validated by science. So we're gonna want the employee to use some of our exercises, and they are on the web-based application, and they're already proven to enhance memory, strengthen mood, and lower stress.
Oh, exciting. Okay. I feel like I have a pretty good snapshot of what like the day-to-day participation might look like. I imagine right now out there that employers and companies are really going to welcome a program like this. I know we've heard a lot through the media about like the Great Resignation. There's a lot of turnover going on. A lot of employees are leaving their current role. And I'm sure that can be really problematic for those employers to maintain their staffing and to keep their employees happy and engaged and as part of their organization. How can 15 for Me help to support organizations to keep their staff, to lower that turnover number, and to really maybe even help to recruit new people to join the organization?
Yeah, that's a great question. So really how our program can really help is that we know what's happening out there. We know that the stress in the workplace is continuing to rise. I mean, there was stress already before the pandemic. Now we're after the pandemic, and the stress is still there. It's even heightened in a lot of different sectors, and the turnover rates are really skyrocketing in literally every single sector, whether it's healthcare or non-healthcare. We also know that employees are becoming more stressed, not only in the workplace, but also at home. And we understand, when someone is stressed over a sustained period of time, there's a lot of consequences for that. Number one, from an organizational perspective, you have a chance where that staff is going to leave, and you're seeing that with their turnover rates. You also might not have a staff leave, but they might not be engaged in the organization. They're not going to be as productive. They're not going to be as engaged, not going to be as passionate. So our program is going to be able to help that as well. And then we know just from the employee perspective, there's significant long-term health consequences of being at a certain stress level for a certain long period of time. We know that there's some really negative health consequences from that. So our program is going to help them with that as well. And that's why at the end of our either cardio or cognitive component, we always want to promote our employees to end with that centered breathing. Centered breathing, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes of centered breathing is really going to help that employee reduce that stress and sort of end that session on the right note.
It sounds like there's advantages for both the employee for their wellness and the organization with this program. Is this 15 for Me program available for purchase for organizations, or can just anyone, buy this program straight off of your website?
Yeah, so right now we're going to roll it out first to organizations. So we're going to, sort of stay tuned for our launch date. We're hoping that's going to be in a couple of weeks coming out. And we're really excited about that. Once we actually roll it out to the organizations, then we're going to be able to offer similar programs to individuals. And the other, sort of component of this that is not mentioned is families. We know mental health and mental well-being in the workplace is significant. Not only affects the employee, but it's going to impact their family at home as well. So we want to be able to provide the employees with access to this outside of work, as well as to their families.
Awesome. Well, we're almost out of time, but I wanted to ask if people are interested in reading up on 15 for Me or learning more about the program, is there a place they can go right now to get information?
Yeah, so if they're on social media, they can definitely look for BCAT and follow us. We're sending out a lot of information, statistics, articles, benefits and components of the program, how to be able to provide this to their organizations or to their supervisors, to their leaders. And then they can also go to our website. So right now they can go to enrichvisits.com. They'll see a link for 15 for Me. You click on that. We have a really nice overview video and a summary of what the 15 for Me program is. So really nice one-stop shop to learn more about the program.
Excellent. Well, we really appreciate you taking the time today to talk about 15 for Me, fill us in on some of the details. We look forward to learning more and seeing the program when it comes out.
All right. Again, thank you so much for the time.
Thank you. Have a great day. And thanks everybody for joining.
You too.